All right, we're live. Hello, everyone. Melanie here again today with Fond du Lac County Land and Water Conservation. Today we have Chad Tasch with us, and we're doing another live interview to discuss the Great Lakes Restoration Initiative project. So Fond du Lac County and Fox Wolf Watershed Alliance have partnered with Dave Simon and Chad Tasch in the Pipe Creek Watershed to show results of cover crops, no-till, and low disturbance manure application over 3 years on the same fields. This will be to show the benefits of these soil health practices. So 2 weeks ago we were at Dave Simon's, and today we're here in the same watershed, but we have Chad Tasch with us today. So he's busy with harvest, getting cover crops in, and spreading manure right now, and he'll be able to fill you in on all that. So take it away, Zach. Let me plug the mic in.
Everybody, Zach Laughlin here from Fond du Lac Land and Water. Please be sure to leave any comments if you're interested in a question for Chad, and also if you're unable to hear us, be sure to let us know. Anyways, Chad here. Chad, why don't you tell us a little bit about what type of farmer you are, what your business model is, that sort of thing?
We are a cash crop farm, and also we do custom farm work for other dairies and other cropping farmers in the area. We custom harvest, we custom apply manure, and things like that.
So when you say custom, that's like you provide the service for?
Correct. We provide planting services, harvesting services, and manure application services for other farms.
And how was harvest this year?
Harvest has been a blessing this year for what we have dealt with in the past 5 years with all the rain. Harvest was pretty pleasant this year.
So in terms of this grant, we have you and Dave doing no-till, cover crops, low disturbance manure. For people that are interested, what is so unique or strange about trying those practices?
So the cover crops and no-till is something we have not done here in the 30, 35, 40 years I've been in farming. It is very new to this area, but because of the last 5 years of rainfall and the treacherous rains that we would get at times, it's forced us to look at a different way of farming to preserve our topsoil and our ground.
Because traditionally, the way that you sort of work out the kinks in the soil and dry it out, you use tillage, correct?
Correct. In tillage, we've got a lot of loose soil, and when you do get a big rainfall, you find a lot of washouts in the fields, and when you can see the water running down ditches and it looks red, it's your valuable land, and we're here to make money, and when you see your top dollar soil going down the ditches, it forces you to look at an alternative way.
So was the heavy rainfalls the past couple of years sort of the driving force to get you to do this project?
We've thought about it in the past, but yes, that has probably been a main cog in the way we look at going forward now.
So we're standing out here right now in one of your fields that's in the project. What do we have growing right now?
So we have planted winter rye here. It got planted about a month ago already, and manure application has been done to this field already. It was done 10 days ago, and as you can see, a lot of the rye has popped back up. It's a little slower on the headlands, but in the middle of the field, and this isn't the first year we've done this, so the last 3-4 years we've seen a quick response on our rye coming back, which you can see here. It's just the headlands are a little slow this year.
And what has influenced your choice of using rye as opposed to anything else?
Listening to other people that are into cover crops, we felt it was a good way to start. We have a heavy red clay soil here, and the root system that the rye provides in breaking up hard pans in the soil is what we elected to start off with. I do want to experiment with some other types of cover crop, but being new, this is what we felt to start off with.
Yeah, rye is usually what people start off with. It's kind of a Swiss Army knife, you could say, of the cover crop world. You can plant it late, it's pretty durable, comes back in the spring if it does
to
start
say,
to fall?
the last few years, it's very resilient to pop back when you go through and you apply manure. It pops back pretty quick. So.
And with rye, you also have the option, if you want, as a dairy farmer, you could let it grow a little bit and chop it for feed if you would like. Then in the
A
spring.
few acres, yes. The dairy does take a few acres of it, but it's not the majority. Most of our rye that's getting planted here will be sprayed off and go into corn. We are a heavy corn rotation cash crop farm. So.
And so you mentioned that you're a custom applicator, so you do manure. Low disturbance manure is one of the practices. Could you explain a little bit of what's innovative about that?
Correct. So the machine, we've got two machines that are low disturbance. It's a Bazooka Farmstar Coulter Till bar, and there's other farms that we do custom manure application for that have been in the no-till and cover crop thing for far more years than we have, and they're always looking for a way to apply manure that doesn't destroy their crop, but yet suffice what the DNR classifies as making sure our manure is incorporated. So years ago, we used to be at application rates of 20,000 plus, and now we're taking them back to about 14,000, 12,000. But yet getting the manure incorporated in the ground, but yet letting our rye live or not killing it off.
It's sort of like the no-till of manure application, you could say.
Correct. Yes.
And with you being able to reduce your rates, that means you can spread manure on more fields then effectively?
We're using our manure a little more efficiently, so depending upon the units of potash per 1,000 gallons and nitrogen, it helps us displace it a little more evenly and get more use out of it.
Third practice would be no-till. We kind of started this project on the back end of the production of the harvest season, but in terms of planting next year, I do know, take a step back, you did no-till most of your rye in this fall, but in terms of in the spring, do you plan on killing the rye prior to planting, or do you want to experiment with planting green in the jungle?
We would like to try both and see different results. So, and even this year, so this field that we're looking at, this was already no-till corn this last year, and I was kind of leery on what the rye would do. It was very, very hard here when we harvested this fall, but the rye popped up pretty good. You know, I didn't expect it to come as good as it did in this particular field. But yes, we would like to see some rye, maybe even a foot tall, and plant into it and see what different responses we get.
Once you sort of figure out how these practices all work and you feel comfortable, what do you think the next level is? What are things that you want to try beyond these practices? Are you thinking about that?
My brain's always thinking about different things, but I'm trying to think how we can, we get these soybeans, and there's always nitrogen credits left in the ground for the following corn crop, and I would like to try some other cover crops that maybe we could get the same thing, where we're getting nitrogen in the ground that can be used for the next crop, you know. So.
Is there any maybe methods you think of trying to get cover crops in? Because maybe we should explain to the viewers here, one of the challenges with this grant and with the practices is that the weather does not always cooperate, and the soil conditions we have with the clays, they just absorb water like a sponge, and we do not want to go out, and no farmer wants to go out on the fields when it's wet. One, you have to run the risk of getting your equipment stuck, but you're also rutting up and compacting your field.
Yep.
So that's the big challenge that Chad and Dave are trying to figure out. So we're looking for maybe innovation in how we can try different seeding methods to either find an optimal time to seed cover crops, or sort of jump over that hump altogether. So is there anything that
we would love to try interseeding at different stages in the corn crop, whether the corn crop is at a V3, 4, or 5, and just see what different results are. But then again, just like you said, we have challenges when we can get in, what our weed control is at that time. So there's a lot of variables that come into play when we can make that possible. But
Sure.
yes, we will definitely be experimenting in the interseeding idea.
And interseeding means that you can go in while the corn is growing.
Correct. Well, the corn is about a foot, 2 feet, maybe even 3 feet tall, and going and getting this rye in the corn where it can get germinated, maybe not grow the greatest. I've talked to some other farmers that have interseeded cover crops, and while some say the rye sits there and it germinates, some say it grows too much, so the timing is huge. But I would love to see rye germinated in the corn rows, so that when we take it, and maybe not much more growth than that, but when we take the corn off, it can bloom out just in case it does start raining, that you've got some acres planted. So,
Does trying this stuff, does it make farming fun? Like, are you excited to see how?
I don't know if I'd call it fun. I'd call it challenging, but it's something that we're forced to look at. The way the weather patterns have gone, it's something we have to indulge into.
Sure.
So, yeah, it can be fun, but yeah, makes it. Red clay is, we don't have the most forgiving ground here, and it makes it challenging.
Is there anything that you can think of that you would want the audience to know?
I could you ask questions. I don't know what the public is thinking.
Sure.
And what they want to know, but I'm always up to answer anything and everything they want to ask. So,
Do we have any questions that came in?
so
What type of music do you listen to in the cab?
none at all.
Oh, it's your zen time.
I don't listen to music.
Because we talked to Dave and asked him, and he said he listens to some Metallica.
No, I'm not a music guy.
Oh.
Sorry.
Well, with that, I think we've covered all of our bases with the project. We're looking forward to moving forward onto year 2 and learning and growing with all the knowledge that we're gleaning from trying this stuff. We hope that you'll follow us. You can follow our pictures and videos on our YouTube channel at Fond du Lac Land and Water. You also can follow us on our Facebook page, as well as the Foxwolf Watershed Alliance. So with that concludes our Facebook Live event. Thanks. Take care.